A second system that's already operating is called NCVET. NCVET stands for Veterans Epidemiologic Test Bed. NCVET adds additional elements to what's being monitored. It tracks fevers. We get white blood cell counts, so we're looking at responses to infection in laboratory. We get microbiology lab reports, so we know what kind of bacteria are growing, how many are growing, and what they're resistant to, because all that's in that lab report. We get the antibiotics prescribed, so that can tell us, among other things, whether these antibiotics are working or not. Despite the resistance tests that we're getting, are they going to have an effect? Once again, NCVET is up and operating, tremendous amount of information, but with the utilization of the NC Prepared program would immediately add those analytics and create an infinitely stronger program that would tell us what's going on, where it's going on, and alert us faster than we can currently be alerted now, tying all this information together. We could track healthcare utilization among people who are about to serve in Iraq or Afghanistan. We use the abbreviation OIF for Operation Iraqi Freedom for those serving in Iraq, and Operation Enduring Freedom, OEF, for those who serve in Afghanistan. We could track their health care and the health care of their family members before, during, and after deployment, utilizing the system we envision for NC Prepared. This is a unique opportunity to understand patterns of healthcare utilization and health issues across the entire state and across the DoD, VA, state, and community continuum. Now, what do I really mean by that? Only about half of the OEF, OIF veterans eligible to use VA healthcare have ever come to the VA for even one episode of healthcare. That's not bad. 1 out of 2 is really better than we thought, because overall only about 1 in 4 veterans uses VA healthcare. So we're doing really well. But even among the veterans who use VA healthcare, half of them get at least some of their care somewhere else in the community at the same time. And certainly if you have a fever or a sudden rash, you're more likely to go to your local emergency room than drive a few hours to the VA to find out what that is. So what we have in VA is a very incomplete picture of the pre, during, and post-deployment healthcare utilization and needs of these veterans. This is really important for our readiness, not just for going to war, but for disasters. Say we have a group of North Carolina National Guard members who respond to a hurricane, and they were exposed to some sort of toxic waste that overflows from a lagoon somewhere in eastern North Carolina. We can't really say, just by looking at VA records alone, who might have health problems coming out of that. But if we have one system that pulls from state and community programs as well as VA, we could see that entire picture and we can map it, not just geographically, but in real time. And by the same token, we could look at the health risks of people and the health use of the people who are going to Afghanistan before they deploy. We can look at the health utilization of their families before they deploy. We can follow the family's health care through TRICARE, through local emergency rooms, while the deployment's going on, which might be of real value. You know, mental health admissions of military children has doubled since these wars began, but we know very little about the outpatient emergency room utilization for mental health of military dependents. This could really give us a picture which would let us plan better systems of care and better responses. It's better for our folks now, and it'll be better for the future. And of course, when people come back from a deployment, we can follow fevers, we can follow pain, we can follow mental health issues. Remember that a lot of people don't want to tell DoD or VA about their mental health issues because they're still worried it's going to affect their security clearance and their opportunity to continue to serve in the military. This system will give us that information. And I want to point out that we have no wish to intrude on these people. We have no wish to have information that they don't want us to have. We're talking about de-identified data. Using the system that's going to be built for NC Prepared, this information will be stripped of personal identifiers. And what we've recommended is we will aggregate data, so we will never have a view of any individual's health care. And in fact, what I've suggested is that if we have a county that has fewer than 100 veterans, we'll aggregate that county's information with other counties until we get at least 100 at a time. So there is no way we will identify any individual, whether they're a service member or a dependent, using the system. But what we will see is, If there is a medical need before, during, or after deployments that we are not yet responding to, it will be picked up by this system.